All right, everybody, let's see if we're live somewhere on the interwebs. We are. All right. Fabulous. Welcome to the studio. Happy Monday. It's good to chat with you. This is like we only have this video and then 2 more videos, and then we're done for the year. Which, man, that went fast, you guys. So fast. All right, I got my notes. Got a bunch of stuff to show you. It is week 2 of May, and everybody has class this week. So if you sign up for classes, this is an on week for you. Next week, we'll have some people who have their last class. If you're in fundamentals or creative explorations or childhood art and play, it'll be your last class next week. And then we're going to talk about next week's like regular classes for drawing and multimedia stuff when we go through housekeeping. So just be aware of that. And we do have some funky things happening at the end of the month because of Memorial Day. And you can always go find your class schedule inside your account. If you haven't learned that yet this year, please go check that out. There's a link in the footer of the Orange Easel webpage. So you just scroll down, it says makeup schedules and more for current students. Click it. It'll teach you how to get into your Sawyer account and how to look for your class schedule. There's all sorts of things you can do in your Sawyer account. You can see what your upcoming classes are. You can look at your billing. You can add people to your account. I don't know, fun things, right? So you can see all that information. All right, let's see here. Let's go through preschool fundamentals. Is that everything in house? Yeah, that's everything in the intro section. So last week, I didn't put a picture up. Last week we read Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. And we made pigeon sculptures out of clay. And so I want to show you some of them. So they are made out of an air dry clay, and they have little bobbly head pigeons with googly eyes. Of course, they're just like regular clay. They're not colored yet, but we did keep them here in the studio. And so that way they could, they're kind of fragile, so I'm being careful. But aren't those fun? So they can dry. These ones are Thursdays, and they're almost completely dry. So here's another good one. We're going to paint these this week. Can we put it up close? We'll have a station set up in the preschool room where the kids can add some color to them. And we'll paint them for this week and probably next week and then send them home. Unless the kids finish painting them and then they can take them home this week. That's fine. And like I said, it's just a station. This week we're going to read Sylvester and the Magic Pebble, and we're going to make our own magic pebbles using hot rocks. We'll warm them up in the oven and then melt crayon wax over the top of them and sprinkle them with glitter. It's a fun project and definitely a sensory experience. For our K-3 classes, it is Metals Month, and so I brought some examples to show you. We're creating these metal sculptures. They've got a wooden base to them. They've got wire pieces, so the wood obviously gives a little bit of weight to it because wire is so lightweight. But the wood's going to lend some weight to keep our wire grounded. The wire pieces, along with the metal tooling foil that I'm going to show you, and some wooden beads. We've kind of got this almost like a mobile or a kinetic sculpture. So they did one piece of the sculpture in their first week of classes. So last week we looked at a slideshow. We tried to understand the scope of the project. There's lots of pieces to it. And we worked on the first piece of it, which was this metal foil embossed pieces. So I'm going to kind of show you some of these. They are small pieces. They're like in bags with names on them, but it looks like these artists haven't cut them out yet. They're still kind of in the square shape that they used. But you can see the texture, right? So that this sheeting is really thin and it's able to be stretched using just a stylus tool. And we added a little color to that. So it's silver on one side, it's copper on the other. Here's another really fun little piece. And they sound cool too. They kind of have a wind chime sound to them. You can see when it comes, it's obviously just like perfectly flat and smooth and shiny. And so then we emboss it with our stylus. So here's kind of what the stylus looks like. This artist has a stylus still in their bag. So yeah, let's see here. Here's a little, we call them like medallions, little pieces that have a design embossed on them. So these will then be attached to the wire sculpture. They can be attached in lots of ways. They can be attached with like a hole punch. They can be attached by crimping. They can be attached by wrapping. They can be attached with another piece of wire, like you're using a bread twist tie. So lots of problem solving that has to happen in our building steps. This week, now that we've got these done, and of course we'll still have tooling foil, so if they want to add something later in the month, they can. This week we're going to start getting out those lengths of wire. So we'll work with the wire. We'll work with all the different ways that you can shape a wire. We'll learn the properties of especially aluminum wire. That the more you use it, the tougher it becomes, and then also the more brittle it becomes. So we'll learn about that. We'll shape it, and then they'll start attaching their metal pieces to it. And we'll wear safety goggles this week when we're working with wire lengths, because although it's probably not very likely that we poke ourselves in the eye with our wire, when the wire lengths get really long, it's very easy not to know where the end of your wire is and to get somebody else in the face. And so we will wear safety goggles when working with wire this week. For our homeschool and fourth, fifth multimedia classes, I didn't bring any pictures, but I did bring some examples. And so we are also working in sculpture, and we are also working in metal. The subject, the theme for their sculpture is a flying creature of some sort. It could be butterfly, it can be a dragonfly, it could be a different kind of insect, it can be a dragon, it can be a bird. It can be a wyvern. I mean, whatever they want to make, it can be something completely made up. As long as it has a body and wings, we're going to go with it. So last week they started with the wings. And so we're building those out of tooling foil. The body will be built out of a combination of wire and fiber. And then all the adornments are other pieces of metal. So I want to show you some of their wings. This is going to show you the tooling foil in its sheeting form. So this is like, it comes in a roll and sheet. And it is thicker than like an aluminum foil. It's silver on one side, copper colored on the other. It is aluminum. And you can see we've started embossing. So the line that you see, the reason you can see it is not because it's drawn on there with a marker. It's because it is, it's actually ridged. Like I could feel it with my finger. It's pressed on this side and it's raised on this side. So our artist started by designing their wings on paper, and then in the concept of symmetry, right? They've repeated it on the other side. They will stay attached in the middle. That's easier for us to attach them to the body that way. So we've started embossing. This artist, basically just has the contour, which is the outline of our wire wings. Some of our other artists have started on actually embossing the shapes. I'm not going to untape this one because this artist has, you can see, they've got their embossed one. It's hard to do in the mirror image. Embossed one on this side, and then their paper design is taped, already positioned where it's going to go on this side, but it hasn't been traced yet. So it's just flat sheeting. So we're working on that. Here's one that has a little bit of embossing design in the interior. So the goal is, once we've got the contour, the outline done, we start decorating the interior with different patterns and designs. Couple things that does. One, it adds a lot of visual interest, which is awesome. But it also, by stretching the metal, it also makes that metal a little bit tougher and a little bit more firm. It's not quite as floppy once it's embossed. So got some designs. I love the symmetry that this artist has, right? So what I emboss on this side, I then emboss on this side, which is amazing. You can see it from both sides. So this is a principle of sculpture, is that we work in the round, and we have to think about what it looks like from all sides. These will eventually be cut out, and then they will be affixed to the body. For a lot of our artists, the wings are, it'll be a fast process once they've designed their shape. I love that all their shapes are different depending on the creature that they are designing. So their wing shapes, right, are going to be embossed, and then they're going to be cut out, and then they're going to be colored. So they'll work on that a little bit this week. And then the other kind of step in the project that we're getting done this week is the construction of the body, which is very simple. It does not take very long. They do have to decide what the body shape will be. So you think like a dragonfly, we're going to have something really long. If we think like a bumblebee, right, one of those big old puffy flying pandas, right, it's more orb shaped. So they will decide their shape. We will use fabric to give it the strength from the inside, and then it will be wrapped in wire. So the point is a wire sculpture, but we did want to give them the ability like to not have to worry about it collapsing in on itself. So we are filling it with fiber. When I say fiber, I just mean fabric, you guys. So we've got fabric felt, we've got fabric fleece, we've got different fabrics in order to give it that structure. So they'll decide their body shape and get that wire wrapped. And then in week 3, we're going to put it all together. So that's when we'll start attaching wings. We'll start adding adornments, different things. There we go. Okay, so our 6th, 7th, and our 8th, 12th, also doing a wire sculpture. Again, working in the round, still working with metal. Their subject is wide open on what it's going to be. We also have wood bases for them. If they don't want to use it and they just want to create a wire sculpture, they can absolutely do that. It is easier to secure your wire sculpture to a heavier base, um, you know, for gravity. So, but we do have wood bases for them. They're just pine boards that have been cut down, and then they can finish those wood bases however they want, whether they paint it or stain it or whatever. So they spent their first week, and this is an artist who is doing her designing in her journal. They spent it obviously understanding the scope of the project and then designing what their sculpture is going to be. So pick their subject. Is it abstract? Is it concrete? And then figuring out the logistics of it. So good things happening. I don't think any of them started their wire work, so they will start it this week. For our creative explorations, these are our stations for the month of May. I'm going to move a couple things on my desk so I keep it safe. So these are our stations for the month of May. We've got metal tooling happening. That's what we showed you with the tooling foil where we're embossing. And I've got a picture. So here we are working with tooling foil in a creative explorations class in Platt Woods. And we've got some examples on the table. Some of it's in a sculpture, some of it's more in a drawing application. But we also have an art history where we're building these like spiders out of aluminum foil and wire, which is awesome. The aluminum foil paintings was really popular in Liberty. And I've got a picture here. So we've got it on a vertical surface rather than we have limited wall space in Liberty. And so we actually put it up on easels, on tabletop easels. We got wire foil on tabletop easels and working on a vertical surface, which is super fun. And then our other stations, get back one more. The shiny metal thing, still life, was really fun. I wanted to stay and draw that. We grabbed some metal objects and worked with reflections. And then with journal invitation pulled from 102 are these trading cards, and then just a spring sensory bin with black beans and flowers and things pulled from the preschool fundamentals curriculum. So great way to end our year with our creative explorations kiddos. Let me flip to the next group. Drawing 101. So last week in Drawing 101, we drew bugs. We did them from photo, so not from life. I didn't have any live bugs in the studio. We had photo references of different bugs, and we drew them using ink and then chalk pastels. They cut them out and made their own little bug collection in their journal. This week, we're going to be drawing, I'm going to get this right, is it buildings and roads. That's what I thought. Buildings and roads. So we're working with a lot of straight lines, something a little bit less organic. And we're going to be learning how to use rulers, which is a skill, right? That I can, stability and mobility. I can keep my ruler where I want it, and I can also move my other hand and draw a line. So we're going to work with rulers and learn how to use those while drawing buildings and roads. If we can get outside, we will get outside and do the drawings outside. If not, we have photos for inside that we can do. All right. For our 102, I didn't get any pictures. I was really behind on editing on all class pictures because I'm still editing art show ones. I thought I was completely done. And then today I sat down to get photos for the slideshow. And I was like, oh, I should go through my messages because I hadn't done that. My staff send me all the class photos every night. And then I usually at night sit down and edit them and get them on Instagram. But I was working on art show stuff still, and all of the photos that I got from there. Really behind on photo editing. So, anyways, I sat down to get these just some photos for the slideshow this morning, and I realized I had missed art show photos from Cece, art show photos from Sarah. So there are more to edit, and I'm this close to being done with the gallery of all the art show photos to get up on the blog. So hopefully that happens today. So that's why there are no 102 photos, not because we didn't take them, but because I am so far behind on editing. So imagine there's a delightful class photo of 102 artists. And I'll tell you what they're doing in class. So for our illustrative kids, it is the end of the month. And for our last hurrah, we're doing one of two projects. And it's really the kids' choice on what they want to do. They can either illustrate a book, be it a comic book or a storybook, with their characters and tell a story. So we're talking cover pages and different page layouts, a storyboard, so that we've got blank books for them. Or if you're not a writer, so if you're just an illustrator, and that's not the right way to put it, but because you're not for just anything, but if you're not a writer, if that doesn't interest you, if you don't love it, we don't want to force anybody to create stories if they're like, I just really like the characters. I just really like drawing the characters. I don't really want to put them in a scenario where we have to tell a story. That's absolutely okay. And so we've got trading cards for them, and they can make trading cards of their characters. They can even write information about the characters on the backs, but then not have to create a narrative. So those are their two options. They spent last week really deciding what they wanted to work on, and then either fleshing out a storyboard or beginning on their trading cards. So one or the other. All of them have characters, so we're not having to design characters for a story. This illustrative crew that we have, they've got a full lineup of original characters. They are not short characters, that's for sure. For our 102 realistic, it is our kind of in plein air month, and so we're getting outside. We're doing a lot of nature items. Last week we drew trees and bushes, trying to understand the form that we see in trees, because they come in different shapes and they are three-dimensional. They are not flat. And then understanding how we draw a tree full of leaves with marks and textures without drawing every single leaf, right? So we explored that using chalk pastels, which is a very painterly way of drawing, but it does really lend itself well to mark making. This week we're gonna totally flip the script. We're gonna do something that is still in plein air and still outside, but instead of being very painterly and impressionistic, we're gonna go very technical. We're gonna be outside doing roads and buildings, and it is our last linear perspective lesson of the year. We're really fortunate because both of our studios are in strip malls. And a strip mall, man, like you walk outside the front door and there is your linear perspective lesson right there. The fact that we have a corridor of stores, and every window and every storefront and every door and all the lights and all the pillars, everything follows the rules of linear perspective. It's amazing. So for a lot of our classes, if we can get outside and draw that corridor, we will. And just understanding that 1 point or 2 point perspective rules. If not, by the way, if the weather doesn't cooperate with us, it's too cold, it's too hot, it's raining, whatever, we'll stay inside. We got photos that we can use as well. But it's fun to get out and draw from life. In our 103 classes, again, no photos for these guys, but we've got two different end-of-year projects for them. So our 102 realistic are doing hyper-realistic food pictures. They're doing an underpainting of alcohol ink markers, and then the top layer and the layer that everybody will see will be in colored pencils. We're working on a little bit smaller scale, so hopefully we can really focus on the technical aspect of it. Last week they chose their photos and got those picked out, got them sketched out, and then this week they'll start with that underpainting. So it's really just a base coat layer of color. Color pencils will cover all of it, but it does kind of give a richness to the picture, and it actually saves a lot of time because it's faster to color in marker than it is in colored pencil. So getting a base color of coverage on it, and then that top layer of colored pencils can strictly be changes in value and hue. So you can put your shadows and your highlights on there. Okay. For our 103 illustrative, we are looking at the shonen style and designing two characters in a face-off. So this is a battle or a fight scene. It's very dynamic. It should have exaggerated emotions. Think Naruto or Dragon Ball Z. So, but of course, not those characters. They're using their original characters and then following the style of these illustrators. All right, let's go through some housekeeping. So it is our last month of the school year. We are down to the wire, you guys. We're almost done with all of our classes. Your billing, all is done. Everybody's billing is done. There is no more billing on the books for the school year unless you signed up for summer. Okay, and it doesn't re-up for the fall. So nobody is automatically enrolled for the fall. We're going to talk about that in this last bullet point here. We'll talk just a little bit about fall, but it is not automatic. So you don't have to contact me to cancel anything. Everything ends at the end of this month. Okay, it's our last month of the school year. We've got drawing and multimedia kids, your 4 classes. The 4th one happens this last week, and this is Memorial Day week. So the 26th is a Tuesday. The 25th is Monday. It's Memorial Day. We don't have any classes on Monday. And we don't have any regular classes this week, but we do have open studios scheduled for Tuesday and Thursday. We'll still have makeups on Wednesday in Liberty, and we'll still have makeups on Friday in Platte Woods. So it is a full week except for that Monday class. And then the weird thing about it is that Tuesday and Thursday is open studio rather than being your regular class period. So if you're normally a Tuesday person, you can still come on Tuesday the 26th for your last class. Just sign up for one of the Tuesday night sessions. Okay. And the reason we have people sign up is because I like to have a roster, a head count of people who are in my building. If you're in a Monday, obviously just pick which one you want. If you're in Thursday and you want to come on Tuesday, that's fine. If you're in Tuesday and you want to come on Thursday, that's fine too. Just sign up for the time that you want. And this is what the sign up looks like. So when you click the link, it's going to open a PDF. Don't be confused. I understand that it's like, well, I got a flyer. That's not a registration link. But wait, if you click any of these buttons, it's going to take you to the registration pages. So there is a kind of a 2-click process. You're going to first open the PDF. We hide all of these registration links because we don't want just anybody signing up. So you're gonna open up the PDF, and then that's what's gonna hide all of these links for you. Pick your time, click the little button. When you do, it's gonna open up what you know and love, which is a Sawyer registration page. It is free. See, it says free right there. It's $0. It just adds your name to the roster so that we know. Now, if you are like out of town that week, right? Because most schools are done. So if you're out of town that week, but your kids finished their multimedia project, you don't need to make this up. If you're out of town this week and your kid's a drawing student, there are no lessons that they are missing. It is simply an open studio. We're going to have time for them to explore different media. We'll have all the metal stuff out. We'll have some bonus stations out. It's really instructor's choice. It's kind of a hooray for summer kind of vibe. So if you are here and you can come, great. If you are not here, there are no makeups for open studio. So like you can't sign up for a Wednesday night sometime in June and expect us to set up all these stations. It's just not going to happen. Now, if your multimedia student did not finish their project in 3 weeks, because that's tough, we're going to try. But if they didn't, then absolutely we want to do a makeup in June, right? Or if they didn't finish their comic book or their trading cards or their May lessons for drawing classes, we absolutely want to do a makeup. But just for the open studio themselves, there's not a time for that. So if you miss this class, say you're like, oh, we're out of town that week, and then you sign up for a makeup in June, our question to you is going to be, what do you need to work on? And if you're like, I don't know, I'm done with everything, then I don't have anything for you. Okay. And if you're confused on that, please reach out to me because I do want to make sure that I'm being super clear on that. The open studios themselves don't have makeups, but we definitely want to make sure everybody through the month of May gets all their lessons and all their projects done. So we will have makeups in June, and I'll email more about those. Right after this week, we all go on staff vacation, so it's a paid vacation week for our staff. So we won't have it the following week, but throughout the month of June, we'll have makeup opportunities for people who need it. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't. And then the last thing is fall enrollment. Just a note here. It does begin August 1st at 9 a.m. We will immediately start talking about it when we're back from staff vacation. And we go right into talking about fall. On the website right now and linked into your email notes is a spot for you to sign up if you would like email communication about fall. I do not automatically sign people up for that because I don't like to bug people. So if you would like to know when the 2026-27 class schedule drops, which will be around the 4th of July, I will email you about that. If you would like to know when the Studio Club t-shirt design comes out, I will email you about that. I'm trying to think the other ones that are out. And there's maybe like 5 emails scheduled through the summer, and I'm already done with it. So all of that is ready to go. If you would like that series of emails prior to registration opening, as well as an email on August 1st that's like, sign up now. If you would like those, you can definitely sign up to get those. If you're like, no thanks, I'll just write it on my calendar, Allison, and check back in with you, that's fine too, right? There's nothing exclusive happening in the inbox, since I just know that sometimes people want reminders. So we'll also be posting information to social media. So you can, if you're like, I'll just go find the information, it will be available on social media and on the websites. So it's not hidden. But if you would like me to actually send it to you, that's where you sign up. So it's, again, it'll be in your notes that come with this video. will be the link to sign up for that. Or you can just go to the website. It's under the art classes section. Okay. Is that everything? Is that all my notes? That's everything, you guys. If you have questions about summer or classes, like May classes or fall classes, send me a message. All right. Hope everyone's, hanging in there for the month of May. You can do this. We're almost there. Bye, guys.